Welcome back, everybody. One of my favorite questions is about influencers. Sometimes they come in a minute, sometimes they come a long time, and ask me whatever you want. Sometimes with my grandfather, he used to take me on walks in the park when I was 5, and he would smile at everybody. And I was asking him, Zeta, how do you know everybody? He said, I don't know. I just smiled at them, and they smiled back at me, and then they started talking to me. So I talked to them, and before I knew it, I had all these friends. So, as you get older, you hear these things again and say, damn, that was pretty good. So how about Elaine, you start, a couple of people that have been influential in your life.
Let's see, this may sound generic, but for sure, my mom is one of my key influencers who I look to for inspiration. She was an immigrant from China. She leveraged education to get more through in life. She raised 4 children, and she balanced cultural, societal norms and the need to express herself individually. She's a savvy businesswoman. You never want to be at the other end of a negotiating table. But she's this perfect, wonderful balance of compassion, yet also very clear on her values and how she won't get taken advantage of. So she's one. And then I would say the other person is an amalgamation of actually a few. In this past decade, I've been highly influenced by my collective, Harvard Business School Community Partners Board. This collection of about a dozen people have been role models for me and combining compassion and action and impact. And so each person has a different style and perspective that I admire to learn and try to emulate from. So one's incredible coach with managing people. Another is really innovative, optimistic, high energy. Another always looks at the implications or sees the bright side of an engagement. So whenever I need to make a decision, I think, okay, how would this person react? And how would that person react? And I try to collect sort of the best practices of this collective being of bright minds with big hearts to apply it to my day-to-day.
Super cool. Payal?
So I'll say 2, my 9-year-old daughter, and the reason that she inspires me and influences me is that, she's born with fire, and my job is to not let it be extinguished, not to put it out, because she's going to need it someday, along with her cohort, to keep our world safe for their future. And one of my gurus, I have many, but dear Bobby Klein, he passed away this year. And I'm still reeling from his transition to another dimension, but he taught me how to read the ancient I Ching, which is an oracle, and just guided me and helped me get out of my head and really truly see myself through their eyes, both my daughter and him. So those are the 2 people that influenced me the most.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Elizabeth?
Sorry, my internet keeps cutting out, so I hope I can get through this. So mine are going to be really personal and very straightforward, but both my mom and my stepfather are the 2 people that, my mom passed away a few years ago, but still every morning when I get up and I'm having a thought, I'm thinking, what would she think about this? What would her perspective be? She was also a single mother, and she raised my brother and I independently and mostly financially as well. And just that strong woman character has just been a lot of what my life has developed into and modeled after her. And then, my stepfather, who was really my father, he raised me, has this amazing, happy-go-lucky, nothing there, any problem in the world, it's okay, it's going to be fine, reassuring, but just such a calming influence. And I often repeat that in my head as well when I'm having a bad day. I'm just thinking he would just laugh right through it, and I try to carry that with me.
That's awesome. And aside from your new daughter as an influencer, who do you got, Shamil?
I'm sorry to go down my mom route, but my mother, I think it's an indication of, I look at my life, I could have gone in many directions as a young, impressionable man. And my mom helped build me into what I'm trying to be. I'm not sure if I'm there yet. But that plays such a big role. And she managed to bring stories of forefathers and my great grandfather, my grandfather I couldn't meet, and tell me about their stories of being entrepreneurs at 14, getting on a boat to Africa. And all these stories just inspired you. But even that same token of giving you stories and wisdom, it's that unconditional love that a mom and often a dad provide. And I think, you know, if anything, it's a recognition that parents have such an important role in forming the humans of tomorrow. And I'd say my other inspiration is Jane Goodall. If you're familiar with Jane Goodall, the conservationist. And I got to work with Jane Goodall when I was in the 3rd grade in Tanzania. And she just had an ability to, if it said, someone said it couldn't be done, she didn't really hear you until you said it could. And it's just that there's just so many places where you least expect there's a vacuum of leadership, and just showing up is 90% of getting to a solution. And I really felt that was imparted by her in my life.
She had to work with some big partners.
Absolutely.
Hey, this is great. Thank you so much, guys. And it just proves that we should all remember that we're, whether we know it or not, influencing other people all the time for a minute or whatever. So thanks for being leaders who care to do that. And you all have a great weekend.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
You.
Thanks, everyone.
Great to see you all.